They know they're getting screwed somewhere. They just don't know how. So the people on the left blame the people on the right. The people on the right blame, the immigrants. Everybody's blaming somebody, and they don't realize what's actually gone on. Interest rates were pretty much at zero in most places. They had to do something because the whole world had shut down. So given the same choice, I think all of us would have done the same thing. I know there's a bunch of people on Twitter who say, the Fed, they should never cut rates. Yeah, well, try going through that and not cutting rates and seeing what it does to the global economy. It was already the worst recession in all recorded history. So, no, it is what it is. And we're not talking about the dollar, like dollar versus the rand. We're talking the dollar as a currency, or even all fiat currencies, because we're seeing it because Europe's doing the same thing, Australia, the UK. So it's that fall in the purchasing power of fiat currency. So the idea is, how do you manage all of this without it blowing everything apart? So we've seen this, is we should have had, in that recession, everything should have fallen apart. Markets went down for a month and then went up like a rocket ship because they devalued the value of money. So they've kind of got this mechanism. And what they figured out also is they can do direct transfer payments to people. So the government and monetary and fiscal policy have now combined. So it's a big thing. So how do they get out of this whole mess? Well, they kind of have to keep going. They hope that they can get enough inflation over 20 years to erode it away. And that's about it, really. I mean, they don't really have a choice. And also what people can't get their heads around is this rise in asset prices means that you could buy a smaller house than you could have done a year ago because the value's gone up. And what are savings and investments? Future consumption. So somebody's robbed you of future consumption when you retire and you sell that house or that investment. And people don't understand why rising asset prices and the way that it's happening isn't a good thing. It's because everybody who's young is getting screwed here because everything's become more expensive to have an investment. Basically, the financial system is kind of overcomplicated because of the regulations after 2008. So banks are very specific in what they're allowed to do with certain things, where their share price is, what their balance sheet's doing, what's happening. And so you can give them money, but they actually can't use it. And it's kind of weird. And the Fed created it to try and create buffers, but it also means that monetary policy doesn't work. In Europe, it's even worse. So the banks are completely broken. And they're so hamstrung by all of this regulation, which is why they gave money directly, essentially, to the government, who gave it directly to individuals, because you need to bypass the banking system. That's what central bank digital currency is all about. It's bypassing the banking system because none of it functions. If you went through the biggest economic crisis in all history with a massively levered system and it didn't fall apart, okay, what is the end game? What more do you want? Thermonuclear war? So even I was very surprised at the economy was terrible, but what it did for markets and stuff. And we need to separate economies and markets. So, yeah, I just don't think that probability is there. Because devaluing the value of the dollar and magic, assets go up. Everything's fine. And nobody gets the joke is the fact that everybody's actually getting poorer because of it, except the few who have all the assets already, which is why crypto is so interesting, right? I've always said this. Once it starts getting over 10 trillion, governments really care. Are they going to stop it? Can they ban it at that point? No. But they care because it becomes a global asset class that matters. But don't forget, the equity market's like 200 trillion. The bond market's like 250 trillion. So this is noise still. And I know everyone thinks like Bitcoin, it's going to take over the world, but it's still minuscule. It's $1 trillion. I mean, it's nothing. So people will care about it. If it does it too quickly, the governments will care about it. But if it goes up over time, they're fine with it. I mean, it's not like they care about gold. I know people say, "Oh, no, they're conspiring to keep down the price of gold." I don't believe that at all. But they've existed alongside gold forever, and it offers the same kind of way of getting out of the financial system. So I don't really think it's as big a deal, particularly if the financial system builds on it all.